Hello, welcome to episode 200 and something. Welcome to Brewgooders. That's fucking 10. It's like changing 27.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Ron. Sorry, this has been a total random. Like, me and Andrew had to gassed at each other just before we went to air about, like, it's fucking weird. Like, the whole point of a Christmas break is that we get a bit of time to, like, resettle, and I don't know if you guys have managed to get that done, but certainly haven't on my end. But yeah,
No.
welcome to the Brewgooders. Hope everyone's well. I'm Jeff. Joining me on my left, and hopefully a member of the parley, is Andrew McGee.
Those woke
Joining him on Team Woke this evening on the bottom left is good old Stu. And then on the bottom right, former reviewer of movies on behalf of Kingdom FM is none other than John Bruce. You guys all right?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Nice to see you guys. Nice.
Good, having fun. It was nice. You have a nice Christmas and New Year, guys. You get taken care of. You get your geeky goodies. We should go.
It was alright. It was good. Doctor Who was amazing. I was raging that the Tetris wasn't broadcast on Boxing Day again for some reason. Gavin and Stacey was decent, and the Wallace and Gromit movie was 10 out of 10. Best thing I've seen in a long time. So
the Doctor Who really did feel like it was old school, like Russell T Davies sort of thing like that. It was so much better. I'm going to say so much better than the Capaldi era or the Jodie Whittaker era or something like that. I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not saying Ncuti Gat was perfect, but it was more like what we got back when we had.
Oh, it was the best combination. It was the best combination of Doctor Who. It was a tight story written and penned and produced by Stephen Moffat, but then handed over to Russell T Davies to tighten up.
John really
You know what I mean?
I can see I'm desperate to come in here and talk about what.
Oh, sorry, John.
It was good. It was fine. I was enjoying the running about and bombastic music and whatnot. And it was very fun. And then the ending came, and I just thought, what the hell was that?
Oh, that was my favourite bit. I started watching it with Sunny, and Sunny was like, "Yeah, I thought it was quite clever."
Jerry Girl became a star.
How did you not like that?
She became the star. She became the star. She became. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't it, but yeah, then was just.
You don't need to dip into the Christianity aspect. It's just a nice, that was an astrological event that was, I think, recorded.
Just that bit of too cheesy.
Of Doctor Who, and that was a Disneyfication thing. I think so.
I read that as a Russell T Davies thing. He does shit like that all the time.
Doctor Who's done that for decades. Doctor Who's done that. The end of the episode, the Doctor disappears, and it sort of pans out, and you realise from the very first episode, or something like that, when Doctor Who started the Great Fire of London sort of thing.
Doctor Who's responsible for all that shit. He's responsible for the Daleks are responsible for the Mary Celeste and everything. You go back far enough.
There was Gavin and Stacey was my highlight for Christmas. I think it ended again. John's like so contrary today. He's just like, no.
Fuck Gavin and Stacey.
No, I like Gavin. I like Gavin and Stacey. I just haven't watched it yet. I haven't seen
that was
from 5 years ago.
That was
no. I love Gavin and Stacey. I just haven't seen it. Yeah.
Okay, it's very good. I would watch it. On some absolute highlights. As always, star of the show on that is Pete and
Pete and Don. My absolute favourite joke of that was, so spoilers for anyone seen it, the bit where when Don's like, the future's bright, the future's Pete, and then it just cuts him going, yeah, I'm fairly certain that we agreed that it was just a one-off. It's so good.
They're always so good. So. You're not saying very much, mate. What was your highlight?
Wallace and Gromit. I don't have an interest in Doctor Who or fucking Gavin and Tracy. But fucking Wallace and Gromit, little Kaz scene.
People get the name wrong on purpose just to show how little they
Yeah.
care.
Sound like an old man there.
Wallace and Gromit was
Gavin and
They all were-
Tracy. Oh, yeah, TikTok, Marky.
So,
It's like an old man
yeah, I
also.
know nothing about those other two subjects, so that's why I was letting you blather on. But yeah, the only thing I watched for Christmas, I guess, Wallace and Gromit and Squid Game, and yeah, that did me quite
That's
well.
I've not seen Squid Game yet. In fairness. Yeah, I've not watched the new Squid Game. Heard it's good though.
Really good. I was kind of, it's the usual. You go back thinking second season, is it gonna is it gonna be half as good as the first? And yeah, like maybe like the second episode or the third episode is like, Christ, I'm in. Like I'm invested in characters that I never knew about like 3 hours ago, and just new twists and turns on old stories. It's brilliant.
I've not started season 2 yet. Obviously, they have to do something different, or it just ends up being a remake, and you get that sort of second season dip. So I haven't watched it yet, but it's certainly on my list.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to how fucking great Wallace and Gromit was. So Wallace and Gromit was like the funniest, best thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And if you've not seen it, shame on you, because it was so good. It was so funny, and it was
It's worth it for the Ant and Dec joke alone.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
but just things like the idea that a penguin putting a rubber glove on its head makes him undistinguishable from who he is without the rubber glove on his head. It was one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite jokes in the Wrong Trousers is when he pulls the rubber glove off his head, and Wallace is like, "Good grief, it's you!" And they do it again, and you're like, "It's amazing that it's disguised as a rubber glove." It's so fucking funny.
That's not new. They've obviously doing the same things as they've been doing for years.
I mean,
but they brought that joke back though. It's just so funny.
They dress him up as a nun, and he gets away with it. Everyone's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, sister. On you go, on you go." And
they're like, "That was a good joke as well, Chief. That's him. No, it's not. It's just a nun on a pleasure cruise." It's like, this is so fucking good. Like, there's a high speed chase between two canal boats, and then there's an old lady on the shore with her Zimmer frame walking faster than the canal boats. Just like,
so no original jokes then.
No, they're great jokes, man. They like the police trying to stop the canal boat before it crosses over the Lancashire-Yorkshire border, and they can no longer have jurisdiction. Just stuff like that. It's just like.
And the town signs for like Lancashire and Yorkshire, both of them have like a wee subtitle apologising that you're going into that town now, and then on the other side that actually we're sorry for them. Just like all the little digs at each other.
But that would say that like when we go to Dot Bubble, you have to drive through Lancashire to get to. Oh, you drive through Northumberland just into Lancashire to then cross over into Yorkshire, and it looks all the same.
Everything outside Scotland just looks like shite Scotland.
Trying to what else I watched over Christmas break. Anyone watch Creature Commandos?
Nope.
Oh, come on, guys! What's happening?
Can't see legally across here. Can't see it legally across here.
Okay, I didn't see it either. Sorry.
No. No.
How was your brief trip to the States?
for that. Yeah, it was great. I flew over. You stopped at. I work in an airport, so it's quite easy. But I flew over to New York, watched Creature Commandos, and any other TV program / movie that I talk about in the next half an hour. That maybe I didn't realize wasn't available in the UK, and then I flew back.
Can I just say, I'm going to say this, and I've long thought this. See, any show that doesn't have worldwide similarities in when it's released is asking to be pirated around the world, especially like a Marvel or a DC show that's shown in North America but isn't shown in the UK is asking to be pirated. Yeah. The big shows.
Yeah, Mandalorian was bad for that for years. Yeah.
The big shows, that's why Game of Thrones and Lost and things like this, eventually they all came out at the same time because they knew if they had even a week, they weren't going to get any. Sky wasn't getting any viewing figures if they waited a week to show it, because in this day and age you cannot avoid spoilers online. You have to be able to watch it. If you're like that guy the day it comes out. So yeah, any show like that, I've got no qualms about pirating it in some way, whether it's a streaming service or I didn't download things. anymore. But there are, other streaming services are available if you want to, or VPNs if you want to pretend you're in North
Too
America.
many streaming services available.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Creature Commandos becoming available in the UK because it's actually really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's the first deep dive into.
Is Jeff's picture gone?
Jeff seems to be dropping.
Yeah.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Did you hear me that whole time? Or
Yes.
the audio was
every word.
Audio is fine, but the picture cut out.
I was just sharing our stream to Facebook. Sorry. Yeah, Creature Commandos good. I'm trying to think what else was. So Squid Game's amazing. I'm really excited. One of my favorite movies
Star
from 2 years
Wars.
ago. Oh, Star Wars. What's that called? The
Star Wars Skeleton Crew.
Yeah,
That was good, yeah. Really good, yeah.
I haven't watched that yet.
Really?
Either.
Thoroughly entertaining, yeah.
all I've heard is it's Goonies in space.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing. I like the idea that they're convinced they're a robot, that they're pirates, so their droid has become like their mate. Is from what I've seen. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like the idea that the droid's like a total and they're just kids, but he still treats them like they're you. Love that.
It's on my list. I've not had time. I've been binging 2 or 3 shows since the new year, and I've not had time to pick up anything modern. Because
my favorite movie from like 2 years ago had a sequel come out on Netflix last week. That was good fun as well. Anyone that's not seen Bank of Dave and Bank of Dave 2, The Lone Ranger.
No, I know that.
Oh man, I would have thought you would have seen the Bank of Dave, Andrew, because it's got Sean Dyche in it, in a crucial part of the movie.
It's actually got Rory Kinnear. I like a lot. Is it Rory Kinnear? Yeah.
It's Roy Kinnear. I think it's not Rory.
No, Roy Kinnear was his dad. I think.
Rory.
Yeah, it's Rory.
Roy Kinnear was his dad. He was in the Three Musketeers back in the day, and many British comedies. But Rory Kinnear's good in almost everything he's in. Whether he's a prime minister shagging a pig, or
no, we're doing presidents, aren't we? We're not doing prime ministers. I was going to say, like, oh my god, we've got a latecomer, but it's the wrong political figure. Sorry.
No, I'm on that segue. Yeah, Rory Kinnear's good. I'll watch that.
That was a smashing episode of Black Mirror. That was the first episode of Black Mirror, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That was an absolute banger of it. I remember watching that with Claire and her being so upset because she was like, because I kind of sold it her as like a I can't remember how I sold it.
Documentary.
I was like, yeah, but when she
Sorry, didn't you really fuck with me?
Yeah, but no, like just trying to watch. Like she was like, "This is really upsetting." I was like, "But it's like, obviously, the whole thing about Black Mirror is it's supposed to be one step away from entirely possible."
Yeah,
and that episode in particular is like very, like, oh, I actually.
You had, I mean, within a year or so, you had stories starting to thingy about a certain prime minister who was not dissimilar to Rory Kinnear back in his college days doing something to a pig. So,
yeah, that was good. But even like things like I remember one episode being like, this is fucking nonsense. The one where the meme, the completely digital AI character comedian he becomes like a political figure, and you're like, oh, actually, we're not that far away from that now. No,
they were hit or miss. I think. I mean, the first season I think was more hit than miss. You know, I had the great one with Donald Gleeson about them being able to sort of recreate a person's personality after they pass.
Yeah.
And recently, something like that has been like, you know, if you want to live on after you die, you can have a 60-minute conversation with AI, and it'll learn your mannerisms and voice and things like this, and how you talk and things like this, and be able to recreate you after you're dead. We're almost there. And then also had the one about the girl who sort of woke up and didn't know where she was, and you know, people were trying to chase her and things like this, and she didn't understand why, and it had one of the best twists I've ever seen. Season one was pretty good.
The Christmas special had that mad bit at the end that that stayed with me forever. It's still with me. Not watched the Christmas episodes when they came out, with the boy stuck for thousands of years in that prison where he's just going to hear "I wish it could be Christmas every day" on repeat. Like, oh, it's like a fate worse than death kind of situation.
Crazy.
What were we talking about? Yeah, what did you guys watch? What else did everyone? It's been that long since I've seen you all. I watched back to Dave.
I think I've spoken to you about this. I discovered Letterkenny on your recommendation. And
then Shoresy.
and that led to Shoresy, which is one of my favourite shows ever. Not available in this country. I had to find alternative means of watching that. But Letterkenny is an idea.
In fairness, all of Shoresy, to my knowledge, is or was available on YouTube. You could
Letterkenny was my sort of gateway drug, and it's great. It's just people sitting about chatting and nonsense or something like that.
It's so good.
It makes me laugh out loud sometimes. I was watching it the other day and I started laughing out loud, and Gina was like, "What on earth are you doing?" And it was just one of those instances. I don't know if you watch it, but there's 3 or 4 of them sitting about, and we start talking about. Somebody mentions Netflix and chill, and then the next one's like, "Oh yeah, Amazon Prime and Happy Time," which made me sort of. And then the third one, Katie went, "Hi, YouTube and Lube." I was like, "Hi, that's just the ultimate, isn't it?"
The one I watched today, I actually videoed it and sent it to my mate Craig. The one I watched today was when Wayne, the guy, one of the main characters, he writes it as well. Is it Jared Kiso's name?
Yeah, Jared Kiso's the main writer.
Yeah, well, it's him on dates, and he speaks to this woman who's like, "Are you a feminist?" And he's like, "I don't think it's a good idea to talk about feminism with a feminist." And she's like, "Why?" And she's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because it starts off okay, but then somebody starts shouting." She's like, "And why do you think that?" And he's like, "I don't know."
It's brilliant. ITVX free. Watch it. It's great.
Free on ITVX. Yeah, totally.
And I'm also watching Peaky Blinders because I've got 2 seasons to go. And
so good.
So that's me.
What about you, Stu? What are you watching?
Me and Margaret binge watched all of What We Do in the Shadows over the Christmas break since we signed up to Disney Plus, and there's not really much else. And like I got sick on Boxing Day and literally just dead on the couch for a week, so I had nothing but time. So yeah, we just sat and watched all of that. Peppered in a couple of films. I mean, I finally got around to watching The Holdovers.
Oh,
Which, like, my God, that's like I should have watched that during the Christmas break. That would have been perfect.
Yeah, it's the perfect Christmas movie, isn't it?
It's just one of those ones where it's bittersweet, but so many lovable characters. But yeah, it's fucking brilliant film.
Yeah, it totally caught me off guard. That was the first film I saw last year when I had to travel down to. I saw it and then realised that in order to have seen it, I had to travel down to the London, the BFI Awards, because it hadn't been put on any streaming.
Yeah.
The only way I could have seen it was that afternoon in London, when it got shown to me and members.
I was in the same boat. I was about to go and watch A Real Pain, then I realised that wasn't released in cinemas yet. So the Holdovers had to do.
Yeah, was it here? I saw The Holdovers, and somebody was like, "Have you seen that?" I was like, "Fuck." Yeah, I had a weird I listened to a podcast about Holdovers quite recently, and the production, when they basically paid for that to get made completely, and then sold. I don't know how common that is within the movie industry, but the movie was completed and they didn't have a distributor, so they didn't have to sell it. So, which is why its release pattern was really, the movie was complete and getting shown around festivals. A bit like the only thing I can think of recently where we've had the conversations actually a bit like Dick Dynamite. Or Dick Dynamite was a completed movie and then it's kind of getting shocked about at theatre. It's I think The Holdovers is a very similar, despite the fact it's got Paul Giamatti in the main role. They had nowhere to. They didn't have a distributor once it was finished. So.
It's not yet. Honestly, I was aware of it.
No, man, it's marvelous. It'll go down as a classic. 20 years from now, it'll be talked about as one of the particularly at Christmas. I think one of those Christmas
I
movies.
just had a quick look on Wikipedia, and it's been described as one of the best Christmas films of the 2020s. But then, if you consider the competition is Red One,
and 100 films on Netflix.
yeah, well, you don't obviously not the Hallmark films and things like that.
Yeah.
They're on Netflix and Channel 5. Yeah, but even Last Christmas was 2019, I think. So
Yeah, I'm basing my entire future career on the plot of a Hallmark movie.
yeah,
So like a Hallmark Christmas movie. So like yeah,
you basically you've stopped being a teacher to go and sell coffee, and you're hoping that some like an American country and Western star or something like that. It's possibly tomorrow. Tomorrow he's going to try and leave the country, but because of a storm, is going to be forced to stay in Scotland for another couple of days. With nowhere to stay, and she'll have to come and stay with you for a couple of days. So,
He only normally leaves the country just so he could watch movies on the fly. But
a day off tomorrow, seeing as we're all being snowed off. John, I don't know if you're supposed to be working today. I'm hearing you're
Bezos.
I've been told, yes. No, I am off, yes.
That's funny because I
Work
actually
this afternoon.
my place of work I've got us on, even though like it's like genuinely the only like without going into too much detail, it's probably one of the only places in the world you shouldn't be working. It's like,
you absolutely should be working. You'll not have any customers. I'll be working from here. So, but yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Did you catch anything exciting over Christmas, John?
Nothing exciting really. I watched all 9 seasons of Shetland, which was a bit grim, but Shetland.
Oh, Shetland! I watched 2 seasons of that during Christmas as well.
Shetland.
I started that. That's the type of thing that I'll watch a season every 2 or 3 months, and it'll last me 3 years. I tend not to binge things like that. But the first 2 seasons,
I watched it back to back. I watched it back to back. I watched Shetland and Solve Crimes. Yeah. So that's what I did. And then one episode away from finishing Star Trek Lower Decks by the final season.
Oh, yeah, I'm working through Lower Decks as well. Such a good show.
Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, so 1 episode to go, that's it done. Yeah.
What put me on the Shetland is I like a wee crime drama. So I watched the obligatory, Harlan Coben Netflix series, which I think was something about somebody being missing. Missing you, maybe? I don't know.
I know.
That's every Harlan Coben
I do.
Missing you, fooling you.
Yeah, it's the same people. It's the same people. The thing is that the guy, the guy who was in Spooks, it seems to be in every single season of everything this guy has ever done. Richard Armitage.
Yep.
I like Richard. He's a bad guy he's a bad guy in the Wolverine movie, isn't he? Is he not the wee prick? Is he not the wee slimy prick that sends?
Oh no, that's he's the guy. Richard Armitage replaced him in Spooks.
Oh, he's the guy. Richard Armitage is the Hobbit guy, isn't he?
He's the guy that's
the Hobbit guy. Richard Armitage. Keep going. Sorry, I'm just.
Yeah.
Was Richard Armitage in was he in the Hobbit?
Yes. Richard Armitage was one of the guys. Richard Armitage was the lead dwarf. He was.
Yeah. Cool. I'm not going crazy there.
Thorin Oakenshield in the Hobbit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like sort of Harlan Coben mystery. This one had Rosalind Elizar in it, who, if you don't know, she's the sort of delightful girl from Slow Horses.
Oh.
Who did she play in Slow Horses? I can't remember who she plays in Slow Horses, but she's the girl who's not the girl from the Detectorists, the other one in Slow Horses. Marvelous. But that's good. So did that.
Slow Horses in my list. I've also been watching fucking. I've not been watching fucking. That's a different podcast.
Yeah,
sorry, good. I'm off third beer now, and I'm not working tomorrow, but it's great. I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale. Anyone watch The Handmaid's Tale?
It's too depressing. I've watched.
It's so fucking depressing. I remember watching it and be like, Oh, I liked her. She was a Mad Men. Oh, I liked her. She was the love interest in Chuck, featuring everyone's favorite superhero slash right wing nut. Zach.
It's Rory from Gilmore Girls as well. She's in it as well, and you're like, oh, I like all these people. Yeah, she's in Gilmore Girls. Fuck, I didn't like
no banner. There's no banner in this show whatsoever. There's not a laugh.
No droids, no explosions. It's just nah.
Oh, it's so I've been watching that every so often, but yeah, you have to watch like it's the opening bit of season 2. I had to stop watching the show after the first 10 minutes and was like, yeah, can we just watch some fucking Lower Decks?
Something a bit more light-hearted. Watch Letterkenny. A 20-minute episode of Letterkenny always cheers me up at the moment. I'm going to finish it soon because it's only 6 episode seasons. Because it's Canadian. Obviously, at the moment, in a couple of months, that could be American because, I think Trump's going to.
Oh my goodness!
I think I just have to say, no means no.
Okay, before we get too political,
yeah, let's do our thing.
Does anyone have anything else they wanted to blather about, like geeky wise, before we did our top 5? No?
I think so. Not for me.
You want to do anything else? Me and Andrew are going to be quizzing you, Stu, on the beer league, so that we can find out which team we want to support. That's basically the one that isn't your team. We want to follow somebody in the same league as the Hawks, so that we can be like, oh, did you see what our guys did to your boys last week and all that sort of stuff.
I was looking at a Bulldogs jersey on Amazon the other day. I must admit, 69 Shoresy.
Yeah.
But if I wear a jersey with 69 on the back, people are going to think I'm a dick. So.
May as well just get that name on the back of the dick.
There's a website that does them all, and you can get like they do like all they do the Mighty Ducks with like Bombay on the back and all that sort of stuff.
It's great. The Blueberry Bulldogs.
Yeah, somebody.
I'm keen to get one.
You can get whatever the Letterkenny team is, to get the two bros. You can get their kit as well. You get some really cool stuff. There's a website, Red Molotov, that do football jerseys that are different teams as well, but they're all based on so they've got music ones. So they've got like a Joy Division one that's like got Curtis on the back in '79, and they've got like an NHS inspired one that's got Bevan on the back, number 48, which I think is like really cool. And then they've got like a Hitchhiker's Guide one that's got where Arthur's second name is Dent. It's got not Dent and then number, and just I think it's pretty cool. Like Bear Call Saul ones and Twin Peaks. So it's like geeks like us who quite like our sport and quite like. I wonder if there's a hockey equivalent. I quite like a hockey jersey. Like obviously you get I quite like when you can get like a proper decent looking kit of a fictional sports team.
Yeah. What we want a Ted Lasso, like
the Richmond Tallman. That's a good one as well, actually.
Okay, I'm going to do our thing, or
so we like to do a single top 5 go where we chat about our top favourite things in a given subject, and so we thought for top 5 go this week, whether it be would it be quite a turbulent time in parts of the world, and us just kind of being bemused onlookers or quite horrified onlookers in some instances. We thought we would talk about our favourite fictional US presidents, and I think originally we thought about movies and media, but
movies and TV.
We just decided to just do like presidents and media. Stu had a really good idea for doing aliens. I would quite like to dig into that a wee bit more because, like, I when I started to form my list, I straight away was like xenomorphs, and I was like, well, actually, I only like these guys because they're antagonists. But if, like, even like the xenomorphs might not be my favorite aliens of the 1970s. So I want to dig into that a wee bit more. Because you're that Close Encounters guy, I quite like him.
Otherwise, we're all going to say Wookiees and ET. So you need to.
Who'd win in a fight between Wookiees and ET?
I want to make a wee prediction here. I think I'm going to have 2, maybe 3, the same names as John Bruce as we go through our top 5 list.
Oh, I think so.
I looked at my list and I would think
possibly.
John will pick him, and John might pick him.
So I think it's a very real chance.
Or her.
Or her. Indeed.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I feel really. I don't have a female president in my top 5. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
I actually need to do my thinking order. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we start going, yeah? So, number 5. Right, 3, 2, 1. Top 5 go. Number 5.
Jamie Foxx.
President David Palmer from 24.
No, that's a good shot.
Abraham Lincoln vampire. Yeah.
Yeah, Lincoln and Abraham. Like, mine's is the only president that kills vampires. That's all I need to say in the subject. So,
I've gone with Michael Keaton from First Daughter.
Yes, First Daughter, yes.
No one's seen that film. Come on.
Look at
I was all about the Dawson and cast.
Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes, exactly.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
Mark Lucas from Buffy, yeah.
Mark Lucas from Buffy was
Mark Lucas.
Riley,
Riley.
wasn't it? And Michael Keaton. Who doesn't love a Michael Keaton?
Keats is the president, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what made him such a good president?
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Have you never seen him in a movie?
Man.
He's Michael Keaton.
I know, mate. I've seen Michael Keaton in plenty of shite. So like justify his.
By the way, name the worst Michael Keaton movie you've ever seen, and I'll tell you.
The worst Michael Keaton movie I've ever seen.
I bet it's brilliant.
Oh, see, it's really controversial.
Mr. Mum.
You guys know I don't like Beetlejuice. But then he's the good thing in it. Yeah, no. There you go. John's going to grab something and rage. Look. Just not a Tim Burton guy. Just not a Tim Burton guy. No,
he's a bad movie.
The Flash. In fairness, he was the best thing in The Flash, but
you know I said last year. That was great. And Michael Keaton
was good.
Fucking multiplicity.
Michael Keaton and Michael Keaton and Michael Keaton. That's like you're more Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton times 4. Come on.
More Keatons, more problems.
Not a good film. Not a good movie.
About that, man.
Not a good film.
It's a great.
And ethically, a really shocking movie. Well, let's have a really deep conversation about the human condition and what it means to be an individual. Or let's have a fucking funny movie where we keep clothing Michael Keaton.
If you want to watch stuff which is a really deep conversation about the human condition and society, you can watch The Handmaid's Tale. Or you can watch 90 minutes of fun with multiple Michael Keatons in
it. Okay. So, what is Michael Keaton's presidential policies in First Daughter? His daughter better be bloody home at 11 o'clock, that's for sure. And you keep it privacy. He's not the main character, obviously. He's a story with Katie Holmes and Lucas. But yeah, just in it. And he's just like, I was looking at, I've not just based this on best depictions of presidents, or it would be all real life presidents and biopics and the one about the Cuban Missile Crisis and things like that.
We were fictional. Yeah, that was fictional. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, he was great.
But yeah,
okay.
No, I agree.
Who did you have, John?
Can we move on from?
I've got President David Palmer from 24. Yeah. First couple of seasons. Dennis Haysbert. Yeah. Awesome.
That was great.
Just let Jack Bauer do whatever he wants. Fantastic. It's like Kiefer doing thing.
Yes.
Who did you have this? You had
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I've not seen a lot of movies with fictional presidents in it. So this one's got like shiny white trainers and uses a rocket launcher at one point. That's pretty cool. Is that the
Channing Tatum one? Or?
Yeah, like the Armageddon Deep Impact.
Yeah.
This was
they did that a couple of times. Yeah, that was when they have like sort of release similar blockbusters.
There's always one which is one which isn't. That was the one that wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Olympus Has Fallen was the better one, wasn't it?
That's aye. Whereas in this one, they were doing donuts outside like the White House, firing rockets at helicopters and stuff. They didn't care.
I'd be interested to see what the like things like box office and that is for those competing movies. I know Deep Impact didn't do as well as Armageddon, but they were both like Armageddon was very much in what 90s action movies were doing at that time, and Deep Impact was having a different conversation. But yeah, it's really like
down to what was the better movie. I think Patrick Bergen Robin Hood was sort of probably better than the Robin Hood Men, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves and stuff like that.
You're going to say Men in Tights there. Nothing's better than Robin Hood.
A good one as well. Anyway, but, I think the best example, and one of my all-time favorite films, is Tombstone. It came out roughly the same time as Wyatt Earp. And Tombstone was just so much better. Yeah,
that's fair. I saw Olympus Has Fallen. I've not seen White House Down. I liked Olympus Has Fallen though. Aaron Eckhart.
If you've seen Olympus Has Fallen, you don't need to watch White House Down. There's a TV show like White House is Olympus Has Fallen, and then there was London Has Fallen, and now there's a TV show.
London
Netflix.
Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen, and now Paris Has Fallen.
Yeah,
on
Netflix or Prime, one of the two. I don't know which one.
Did White House Down not have like a sequel as well? Does White House Down not got like sequels as well?
I don't think
Is
so.
that got who?
No.
Sequels.
Fair enough. I didn't think it was the one it done. That people thought it was. Right. Will we do number 4?
Are you not going to talk about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Is Abraham Lincoln killing vampires? Do I need to talk about it?
Probably not enough.
One of the most progressive, liberally minded, effective presidents in human history, and then they just stuck. Then they hadn't killed vampires at the same time.
Okay.
So he ended slavery and killed vampires. Come on now.
Okay.
And for those wondering, White House Down made more money in the box office than Olympus. 205 million for White House and 170 for Olympus. But
And yet Olympus Has Fallen.
yeah, Olympus only cost 70 million. White House Down, 150 million.
Because it had
That's
Jamie
because-
Foxx and Channing Tatum in it, whereas
And they had shiny white trainers and a lot.
Olympus Has Fallen was, in my understanding, is much more like it's a cleverer movie and it's got more kind of twists and turns and stuff. Whereas White House Down's like, bro, and then we've got a helicopter and it's going to go.
Yeah.
There's the Michael Bay one, and then there's the one that's not Michael Bay.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Oh, and that's it. Both of them had like decent directors behind it. Roland Emmerich done White House Down.
There you go.
Makes sense. Like,
I can't even say his name. It's the Training Day director.
Anton Fuqua.
Yeah, you say it, John. You tell him. He directed Olympus.
Good. Yeah.
it speaks for itself. I didn't know who directed White House Down, but I would have guessed either Emmerich or Bay. So that makes sense. Okay, number 4. Will we do number 4?
Number 4, yeah.
The 4th best president in cinematic / movie history is
Dave.
Dave, that's a good call.
Who's your one? Hey, Andrew?
Keith David.
Kevin Kline is Dave.
Kevin Kline is Dave. I take a bullet for you, Dave. Vig Rames?
Yep.
Yeah.
Big Rames, yeah. We can vote
Yeah.
for you, Dave. Yeah, man.
Did he not become president? He was no like he was a lookalike.
He was a virtual lookalike for the real president. The president was off doing like shenanigans, and the president has a heart attack,
Yeah,
so he has to take over as the president. And the player doesn't know, just the two presidents and the men, you know.
It's a very, very good movie, I must admit. It's one that I like.
It's an Ivan Reitman film, yes. Sigourney Weaver in it as well. She's really good in it, yeah.
Yep.
Frank Langella.
And she's the first lady, isn't she? President dies, and she gets together with Dave at the end. No spoilers, but it's a 25-year-old movie, so yeah.
It's more than that.
Yeah, is it 90s or something?
30s, yeah.
I'm just writing them all down because I actually haven't heard of any of your votes. So,
well, Keith David is he's the president in Rick and Morty. He's always fighting Rick and stuff like that. And he's absolutely brilliant. Sanchez, you son of a bitch.
Not to be mistaken for David Keith.
David Keith.
Acted entirely.
All right, David Keith was in Kai Karate or something like that, or Kung Fu. Was that David Keith?
No, that's David Carradine.
David Carradine. Who's
David Keith is David Keith. He's a fine character actor. He played in Daredevil's dad in the Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck. He's in. He played Elvis in Heartbreak Hotel. A lot of stuff. Yeah, good actor.
Yeah. Not David Keith. David.
Not Keith David. No, but Keith.
Yes.
I wonder how many like people phone him for work, then realise they phoned the wrong one. Like, oh no, we meant to get Keith. Sorry. Thanks for your time, David.
Sorry, David.
Yeah.
We saw you in Rick and Morty or like that.
It happened today.
I get that at work. Yeah.
I was listening to the BBC recently. They brought in the wrong footballer because there's obviously there's so many footballers in the world, and they've all got similar working class British names. That they brought in like the wrong Rob Jones or something like that to and they're like, to discuss this this issue with us, we've got former Wales blah 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 blah. Rob Jones is like, yeah, that's not me. I'm involved in football, but you've obviously just picked the wrong guy off the email list. Sorry. You imagine that, like Keith David showing up for work and I've been like, guys. It's like
Keith David's got such a great voice. He does a lot. He was one of the Transformers in the Transformers movies. He does video games.
I'm sure he was the president in the Saints Row games as well.
A great voice. And obviously he's in Community.
Is Keith David's the guy in is Keith David's from fictional? He's been he was in Armageddon, was he not?
He was in The Thing.
Yes.
Yeah, he was in The Thing. He's child. He's child. Yeah, of course that's what Keith David is. Yeah. I'm sure he plays a character in Armageddon as well, and other things.
I can't remember in Armageddon, but
he's in
Armageddon. He's like the president's advisor or something. He's like the guy that he's the guy that comes in. He's like, we need to do this now because the president doesn't agree with you. He also has. Do you have a fucking awesome fight with Roddy Piper?
Roddy Piper keeps trying to put sunglasses on him.
They have that. They have like one of my favorite cinematic fights in history. I think I voted for it in our deal. Did we do a fight? Have we done a fight? Top 5 goal.
No, we've no, but
that's like one of our 2 or 3 easily. Keith David versus Roddy Piper. They live, and they're just not holding back. Like you're like, oh, these aren't like pretend film punches. These guys are like decking each other. It's like
punching each other in the dick whenever they get a chance.
It's always so good. I had Morgan Freeman's president in Deep Impact. We were talking about Deep Impact earlier. I think he does a really good job in that film. Totally believable. It was 1997 that film came out. So like obviously quite progressive to just have a black president in a major role, but obviously they don't even venture. His race doesn't come into any point in the movie. It's just him dealing with within the confines of the movie, like the worst crisis that will ever face humanity, and he just handles the whole thing with grace. It's cool. It's good. Just a really good role for Morgan Freeman, I think. I quite happily have Morgan Freeman as my president. I think if I would.
Again, he's one of those great guys, and as a character, as a voice actor and stuff like this as well. He's got the best voice about it. I bet him and Keith David hate each other. They're always after the same. They're always going for the same. Hercules animated movie or something like that. Morgan Freeman was narrowly edged out by Keith David. Things like that.
They just do rock paper scissors outside the audition.
You can do Shawshank. It's fine.
March the Penguins is yours.
Who's yours again?
Sam Rockwell in Vice.
Is that a TV? Sam Rockwell's great. Let's just out there now. I'm a massive fan.
Yeah.
Vice is the Cheney film, isn't it?
Yes, with Christian Bale being the lead. But again, it's just down to me not knowing a lot movie presidents, and just looking at the list of ones I have seen, there was a split between that and crap, I forgot his name. Ron Swanson. Just he was in that Civil War movie. But he was the president in Civil War, but there was no.
So I've still not seen that Civil War movie. I've heard good things, but I've also heard it's quite.
It's bleak,
Yeah.
but it's very well made.
I think it's probably more bleak this week than it was before. Yeah. No, I've written it down. Whenever we do these lists, you guys always suggest stuff I've not seen, and I've definitely got I really like Sam Rockwell. I watched a movie with him in it recently. It was just, a few movies with him recently. He's just so good. So yeah, I put that one down.
That's him. Well, actually, it's him playing George W. Bush. So you can just tell he's absolutely just chewing on the role.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. That's a good one. Number 3. Will we try number 3, guys?
Yep.
Oh, I'm trying to 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Bill Pullman, Independence Day.
Oh, Bill Pullman, Independence Day for me too. Do we have to do like a fist bump on the screen or something?
Yeah, just punch your
Jack Nicholson. I had Jack Nicholson was my number 6. For Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Just for that one scene where he chews scenery and then just gets stabbed anyway. So good. Who did you have, David? Andrew?
John Goodman, who was a president for 3 episodes of The West Wing when Martin Sheen's daughter was kidnapped. Season 3.
You've definitely you preempted a lot of choices going forward.
Yeah,
John
you know
Goodman.
from here.
Yeah, I can see that. Jack Nicholson and 2. So we've had different presidents up until number 3. I imagine this is when it starts to get we all like that job. So
I think we're all going to pick the same number 1 is the thing. There only is really one choice. So, but we'll see.
Yeah. John Goodman. Great.
John Goodman, because he's like I talked earlier on about about Michael Keaton. John Goodman's never been in a bad movie. Even the Flintstones.
Flintstones.
John Goodman's just good in everything he does. There's certain people.
Apart from the Flintstones.
You did
Flintstones. Rock Vegas.
All right, I mean, they remade the Flintstones 2. It was a complete bomb because it wasn't him in it. It was Mark
Hadley. That's a total random segue. Talk about Mark Hadley. Mark Hadley is the main antagonist in The Rig. I really like Mark Hadley as an actor.
Yeah.
But when he's the bat,
season 2. I watched The Rig. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched The Rig too. The Rig season 2 came out. It's just over. It was good. But Mark Hadley's your baddie. And you're you're fucking Fred Flintstone from Viva Rock Vegas. I can't take you seriously as an antagonist.
Crazy. Yeah, John Goodman.
John Goodman. West Wing's just one of the best TV shows ever.
Yeah.
So
in my opinion, the best.
Stu, you had Jack Nicholson. Mars Attacks is great. I had a conversation with a mate recently where he was like, I rewatched recently, Jeff, and my mate Craig was like, I watched this movie and it was absolutely shit, and I remember us loving it when we were kids, and I was like, firing off all these movies, and I was like, is it Basketball? Is it Team America? Is it all what movie is it? What movie are you thinking about that beat you thinking back to the movies that I used to love watching with my mates when I was younger? And he was like, oh no, I watched Mars Attacks. I was like, hold on. And I don't even like Tim Burton, but Mars Attacks is excellent.
Mars Attacks, Tom Jones. Come on, Tom Jones.
What's that? Yeah, there was Tom Jones.
Tom Jones. It's like, hey, get out of here, it's aliens. Brilliant. Poor Tom Jones, the French
Parker's head sewn onto a dog's body.
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox as well.
I watched it once and I'm in thinking, well, that's 2 hours of my life, but we're getting back again. So, yeah.
No, don't run. We are your friends, as they're shooting.
And it is just the design of the aliens, or the one that pretends to be human, but it's got the Madonna bra and the big blonde wig. When I went to that horror con in October, someone was going about dressed as that alien.
That's so good.
Yeah, you just seen like this giant blonde headdress going through. It was like a foot taller than everyone else. And
It's just a really
I
horny
bought the
Martin
shirt,
Short.
if you could see over my shoulder.
It's Martin Short. It's the one that brings her into the White House, isn't it? It's like,
I think so, yeah.
yeah.
And they've got a game coming out for PC, I think this year, that looks really cool. And it's called Mars Attracts. And it's a theme park simulator. And it's just aliens building theme parks that tortures humans.
Oh, that's good. That's good branding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson's great in that film. I watched The Shining over Christmas. Jack Nicholson's great. I forget how good Jack. Like I slept on how good Jack Nicholson was until folk were like, you need to watch these movies. But yeah, he's definitely really, really good. And he's one of those actors that like you see in things like Mars Attacks, and folk think, oh, it's Jack Nicholson, and you're like, I sort of remember Mars Attacks and like Meet the Parents coming out around about the same time, and folk being like, oh, Robert De Niro. And they'd be like, I don't know who these guys are, and I don't know why they're so good. And then I had to go back and watch, their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I suppose if you grew up with Jack Nicholson as like your Joker and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
yeah, of course,
and The Shining, and you're like, oh, that's great casting. John's gone, but he's hiding just now.
I'm back.
Bill Pullman. Any president that can happily say "Yeehaw America" and but claim to be representing the world in global conflict is yeah.
Independence Day is not a great film, but he's great. That speech, that monologue is used on July 4th all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's our Independence Day. It's like, yeah, it is. Go on.
Yeah.
It
makes you patriotic for like a reason that you can't quite understand, even though you're not American. You're like,
even though they're British, and it's like, hey, it's the Yanks. It's like, oh, come on, really?
Oh yeah, it's like
Okay,
the most English airmen they can fight for like 20 seconds.
They've got the Morse code sitting in the kit. It's the Yanks. Oh,
it's about bloody time. It's a bit bloody time. Apples and pears. It's like
much in the same way Andrew picked Michael Keaton, Bill Pullman for the same reason. It's just it's Bill Pullman.
Yeah, he just does and then they let him fly a jet against aliens, and it's just like, no, you're the president, man. You can't do that. And they're like, I want to know what you're doing. He's like, oh, fighter pilot, man. I need to be in the air. And you're like, no, but you also need to represent a post global alien invasion. You need to be our main representative of our nation and develop policy and discussion following this crisis. That's good. I loved it. Number one
was Jeff Goldblum. Absolutely the best chef in the world. My favourite chef.
He's Jeff. Yeah, he is Jeff Goldblum. I think he cements himself in Independence Day as the best Jeff. Like he has his moments where when the world's all freaking out, he's like, he's still Pete Goldblum in that one.
I think I can never say this enough. I'm fairly sure top 5 go came from a portion we did when I did my top 5 Jeffs on this show, and you didn't make it.
Jeff Goldblum,
Jeff Bridges, obviously.
Jeff Bridges. I watched a bit of Lato over the holidays.
Jeff Jr. You were beaten by a fictional character that you created.
It's my best-selling comic. But I was watching Ted Lasso recently. There's that joke where it's like Jamie Tartt's like, "Hey, I'm trying to build bridges here," and Roy Kent's like, "You couldn't build Jeff Bridges." And it's like, what does that even mean? It's so stupid. Right, I'm interested. I really struggled with my number ones. Can I throw out a couple of my close calls?
Number 2 yet?
Number 2. Oh, great. So I'm struggling with number 2. So, that's okay.
You're struggling with number 2. Get cream for that.
Yeah, that's right. That makes this easier to decide.
Are we 2? 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Go. Number 2.
Oh, me and John have
Douglas,
done the same. There's another
the
Bill
American
Pullman.
president.
Michael Douglas,
Okay.
the American president.
W.
So you guys got Michael Douglas in the American president.
We did.
Harrison
Yeah.
Ford in Air Force One.
Yeah. He was
On my list.
he was
On my list.
close, but
So we got, we've got 3 for Jeff Goldblum. Who do you guys have Michael Douglas?
Michael Douglas.
Yeah. Okay. It's going to be interesting when we get to number 1 to see who's winning. At the moment, Bill Pullman is the best movie media president of all time.
Bill Pullman, that's two votes or 3 votes he's got?
3 votes.
3 votes.
votes.
Oh,
It's fine. When the 4 of us go for the same name for number 1,
I think it's going to be the first whitewash in our channel's history. Yeah. Okay, guys, tell us about Michael Douglas in American President.
He's great. I mean,
American president.
It was the blueprint for what would become the West Wing. Aaron Sorkin wrote
Yeah.
it. Martin Sheen played the chief of staff in it. I think the president's wife, or the girl that he was talking to, well, he's not his wife. His wife had died, and he was
He's a widower, yeah.
with the girl and stuff like this. It's the snappy dialogue that you expect from Aaron Sorkin with the quality of acting. It's just a great movie.
Yeah. I mean, basically, it's the offices that Sorkin idealised. America, as it were. The American president is somebody who should be looked up to and respected. And, should be like a decent guy. And that's what Michael Douglas played his president as, somebody who you would want to lead your country, and a good egg.
I think
One of the last examples of that in any media or reality, really.
I think at that time, because I didn't think it could get any worse at that time. That he was intellectual, but he was also a liberty Democrat, stuff like this. At the time, I think it was during the George Bush presidency, we thought this was as bad as it could get. George W. Bush, it was sort of the opposite of that. And Aaron Sorkin, like you said, he's always sort of idealised the office of the president should be in every character. And look at the West, they're the most intelligent man in the room. They're, they're qualified, suave, just everything about them was great. And the American president was like his blue.
The American president, cracking film. Bridget Fox
and if you look at the
and
characters,
Benning in it.
if you watch the newsroom, it's basically he writes the same character all the time. That the really smart, grounded guy who shares his politics.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, we've lost Jeff. We'll go on to you, Stu, because we've done the same.
Yeah, Bill Pullman and Independence Day.
Bill Pullman and Independence Day. Yeah,
You.
we can't say much about it. He was great. Bill Pullman was
when John suggested this theme for the top 5. Bill Pullman doing that speech was the first thing that started playing in my head, and it wasn't until I started doing my research that I was able to properly form my list. But yeah, Bill Pullman's like Independence Day. It is like the movie president.
Yeah. But he got done badly in the sequel.
Was he in the sequel?
Independence Day. He was in the sequel. He came back in the sequel, and he was kind of like down and out. It was pretty bad. Yeah.
I think I watched the sequel, but not at first for it. So, Bill Pullman. Another vote for Bill Pullman. 3 votes for Bill Pullman. Jeff's away again. Can anyone remember who Jeff had so we can discuss him?
Harrison Ford, Air Force One.
Harrison Ford, Air Force One. Yeah, that's a film.
I think for me, I think there was too much action in that movie for a president. It was like a White House Down again and stuff like this. I'm not convinced it was realistic.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they'd gone further with Harrison Ford in the Jack Ryan character, because later on in the books he became president. And I think
he became president at the end of President Danger.
Clean Prison
Adam was
Danger. That's
wiped
it.
out.
You could be talking about
Yeah,
Clean
he was swimming, yeah.
He was like for a long time he was my favourite Jack Ryan. Before Krasinski took on the role. It's been 4 now, I think.
Maybe getting a film.
5 Jack Ryans.
5.
We've
Pine,
had
yeah.
now, if you count Chris Pine, Ben Affleck, Harrison Ford, Alec Baldwin, and Krasinski. Harrison Ford's a good call.
And Krasinski's coming back for a film. He said.
Is he?
He's going to do a new Jack movie. Yeah. He's announced he's coming back for a movie, yeah.
Do you not think this is an ideal time though, John? Obviously, they've talked about Harrison Ford for you to reprise your Harrison Ford impression based on Ralph Garman's Harrison Ford. You used to do that, and it always cracked me up.
Well, yeah, basically my impressions are all from Ralph Garman's impressions. It's David Bowie, Schwarzenegger, all that kind of stuff. It's the Harrison Ford is the Chewbacca. That's pretty much it.
Nailed it.
I thought Air Force One was like my favorite film when I was like 12. Like I just thought it was such a cool fucking movie. I really like, and I haven't seen it in years to be honest, but I just like the idea that like it was kind of believable that like he played the presidential part of the role quite well, but then also like the underdog aspect of like I felt the jeopardy in that movie. Normally these movies are like, I felt like The Rock. Like we went through quite a really cool phase of action movies in the late 90s where your heroes weren't guaranteed. I think me and my friend Craig have talked about this quite a lot. Whereas you watch like more recent action movies, there's no like, or even your Marvel movies, that no one's ever at risk. They build the superheroes up so well that actually you're never under any fear that your hero's not going to manage to achieve their goal. Whereas like I think in the late 90s we hit like a perfect like, I think with movies like Speed and then The Rock and stuff like that, we hit this sort of like one of my favorite examples, and we'll probably talk about it in a top 5 go. I really like Kurt Russell's role in Stargate, where he has a fight towards the end with one of Raz's baddies, one of the big like god guys, and he's getting his ass handed to him, and he only wins the fight by like basically rolling a guy into a position and clicking a button. But I think Harrison Ford in Air Force One totally like he's outmatched in almost every fight he's in, but just manages to do like something. Brains will brawn all the time.
I'm going to say, as movies go, I think it was all right. I think at that time they were kind of, because it's Die Hard. It's like they kept on trying to remake Die Hard more ridiculous. Die Hard on a boat, Die Hard on a plane, Die Hard on a train, Die Hard on a plane, but it's the president.
Yeah,
fundamentally it's the same sort of movie, and then none of them ever did it as well as Die Hard.
Yeah, maybe it's just okay. I think Air Force One. Air Force One's like total meted out by its really awesome cast as well. So you've got Harrison Ford, you've got
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, Glenn Close,
Dean
Dean Stockwell. Dean Stockwell in a total random role, and I really like Dean Stockwell. Obviously, from he's the guy in Quantum Leap, but he's just there, and he's like a main character, and I don't really know why he got that role, but he's great in it, and don't get me wrong, but it's just like, as somebody that I associate with like a very TV role, all of a sudden he's up there with like these heavy hitters, and he's just there, and it's great. William H. Macy in a very like quite an early, pre sort of just after Fargo, so it's like
Pre-Mystery Men.
Pre-Mystery Men, William H. Macy. Pre-The Shuffler.
Pre-Shameless.
I'm the shoveler. I shovel.
I shovel.
Listen, God gave me a gift. I shovel well. I shovel very well. It's so good.
Mystery Man. I watched that at the cinema. We had it for half a week at the cinema. When I went to watch it in Cinema One, 550 seater, there's me and one other guy, and I was the only person laughing.
I went to see it with my mates, Cal and Jamie, and we were the only 3 in the screen. We watched it in the Robins in Dunfermline, and there was only the 3 of us.
I think every actress or actor in it is like a B-list. You know, it's like nobody. Janine Garofalo and Hank Azaria and William H Macy. No can name major. Everybody was like would be the other guy.
Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah, exactly. He'd won the Oscar.
Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Ed Izzard.
Big, yeah. So yeah.
Is it Hank Azaria?
Yeah.
Character was
Yeah, that's not
The Blue Raja.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why don't you have any? Why don't you have any blue in your pocket?
a mummy?
So
So good. It's such a good film.
Did you know that All Star was written for that film? You're the one that everyone associates with Smash Mouth. That
Yeah.
That was written for Mystery Men, but everyone associates it with Shrek, obviously.
If you look at the original music video for it, it's the Mystery Men thing before it was popularised on Shrek.
It's such a good movie. Sorry,
crunch time.
That's why Harrison Ford. Yeah, right. Are we just going to go through the motions now? Because we all know who number one is.
what number one is? There's absolutely no doubt who number one is. I want 44 here, guys. I think Stu's going to let me down.
I Stu's a dark horse in this. Right, 3, 2, 1, go. Number one.
Martin Sheen.
So, 3 President Bartletts and a Harrison Ford.
Jed Bartlett's.
3 Bartletts, 3 number ones.
Jed
I think takes my head Bill Pullman. But there's nothing more I can like. West Wing's my all-time favourite show. It's brilliant, and arguably the second best president on thing is Jimmy Smits in the same show. Although he's only president for the last 30 seconds of the last episode. So well written, so perfect, so reactionary to everything that was going on in the world. And if you look at it, it won 15 Emmys and things like this. It's probably my all-time favourite show. Helped again. You talked about earlier on about an ensemble cast. The cast in that is Bradley Whitford as Josh and Alison Janney as CJ. Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe
in the early seasons, and the other guy in the sort of later seasons. The guy for Scandal and things like this. Can't remember his name. Will. No, he played the character's name as well.
Will. Yeah. Josh.
Adam, our studies teacher at high school that used to use like when we were learning about the president. In higher month studies, you've got to learn about a British democratic system, an international electoral system, and then it's like. And I can't remember. The other one's like a moral issue But we had a modern studies teacher that used to use the West Wing to try and teach us about American politics. So,
my understanding of how American politics works, with Congress, with the Senate, and how many votes it takes to overturn a veto, and what a filibuster is, and all of that, all comes from the West Wing now.
Michael Sheen's just great. Like totally believable. Just like
Martin Sheen. Michael Sheen's the Welsh guy.
Martin Sheen. Michael Sheen's good as well. Frank Club.
Michael Sheen's brilliant in that. He plays Bev Bevan. Michael. By the way, Michael Sheen's good in everything. Like Michael Sheen's always good, but Martin Sheen's great in this.
Especially the Twilight films. He's really good in that. Yeah.
Oh no, good point. Actually, Michael Sheen's not good in everything. He was fucking dog shit in those, but I think the movies were dog shit.
Yes.
So that's why he was the best thing. No, he wasn't even the best thing in them. He was fucking awful.
But yeah, Martin Sheen. I watched the pilot episode for the West Wing about a month ago again, and he's not in it much. He's mentioned, and then he just comes in at the end. Oh, it's so good. Just the acting is amazing. Yeah.
And his last line is what is like, "What's next?"
It's really good. Once again, the president that you would want to lead your country. Decent guy.
Yeah,
It's quite funny though, like, 'cause, you talk about like what you expect from. Like, I remember when Obama was in charge, and I remember a friend saying, "Oh, have you seen Obama recently? He looks really tired." And you're like, you kind of want your world leader to look tired. You know what I mean? Like,
Obama was as close, I think, as we got, because he was generally the smartest man in the room. You thought he cared about everything, and he
Yeah.
worked hard. You know, he aged over the course of his presidency because
oh, like really, if you see him at the start and end, like you see it, and you're like,
yeah,
but whereas like, I suppose the thing with guys like Trump is like they just put it back in the fridge for like a couple of years after he's done, you know. And
Fridge, more like the tanning salon.
Obama makes Trump. Obama's so classy and so smart and so, you know, everything about him.
He's quite funny. Like, obviously, we don't live in the US, where you know it's fair enough us talking about US politics from like our like Scottish induced ivory tower or whatever. But you like we all like I spoke to an American friend about this recently. We all fucking loved Obama. Like from the outside looking in, you're like, what are you doing? Like this guy, you've got your guy. He's fine.
Well,
Like,
see, the thing I'll go back to saying about Aaron Sorkin, about how his characters were always like who you would want to be Prime Minister. If you've watched the whole of The West Wing, I mentioned John Goodman earlier on. He was Glenn Walker, and he was a good guy, and he cared about things and stuff like this. The guys who run against them was Alan Alda, and he was a good guy, and he cared about things and stuff like this. These were what he portrayed as the Republican characters. And they were good guys and the smart guys and things like this. James Brolin was another guy who ran for president.
you just want to think that if you get to a certain point, obviously this is maybe like leaning too large into political discussion, but like you want to think that if you get to a level of seniority in that sort of like world, in that political world, you would want to think that it's a level head. And you know, you're totally right about the West Wing. I think demonstrated it was like, but to get to become the figurehead of your political movement, you would imagine that like, and what I really liked about the West Wing was like, and it was maybe supported by the way that episodes were structured as well. But like every episode kind of tended to have like an issue that they debated and discussed, and you saw like the issues. I mean, one of the episodes that jumps to mind that I really enjoy is when they're trying to when they get the opportunity to bring somebody into is it the Senate? I can't remember the exact details. But like you only get to do it, or the Supreme Court. You get a new Supreme Court judge, and you can only like because of how my understanding of the way the system works is that Supreme Court judge isn't once you're elected you can be there forever. You're basically there until you
a lifetime position.
So like you don't. So if you have the opportunity of a political party or an administration has the ability to elect a Supreme Court judge, it's quite a big deal because you know it only happens every 3 or 4 or 5 like administrations because of the way you know the age and like the way that person is. So they and the whole episode is just them interviewing different people and discussing about why this like Harvard graduate should be the one that steps into that role rather than this guy. And whereas like when you think about what my view of politics just now seems to be like the opposite of that is like
British politics is no any better than American politics at the moment. It's the politics of personality. If you look at the people who they're prime minister because they wanted to be prime minister, not because they've got any skills to do it. You know, you can look at Liz Truss, you can look at Boris Johnson, you can look at things like this, and certainly you can look at Donald Trump and things like this. Politicians are awful these days. There's no statesman. You know, back in the day, you know. Even if you didn't agree with the politics of a John Major or Margaret Thatcher or you know a George Bush Senior or something like that, you never doubted that they were capable and they were intelligent. Whereas you look at them now and you think, well, see, Liz Truss is a national embarrassment. Sorry, I don't want to get too political, but fucking hell, what a state!
What we should do is I think we should go down the Air Force One route. So Stu can like chime in about that a wee bit. It's the idea that I think in order to become like during your presidency, you should be put in like a dangerous situation, like terrorists should take over your plane, or we should aim a comet at Earth, or we should
It's easier than that, man. Make it a Hunger Games style thing. If 5 or 10 people want to be Prime Minister or President, let's put them on an island, Battle Royale style, and the last person to walk off gets to be fucking Prime Minister.
I didn't even think about it. Because we were talking about America. Would President Snow from the Hunger Games count as a decent president?
I think he was misunderstood, wasn't that?
Was that Woody Harrelson?
No, that was Donald Sutherland. Yeah, he was an asshole, but he didn't lie, and that was his whole thing. He's like, "Yeah, I might be many things, but I'm not a liar." Yeah, it's quite happy to turn around and be like, I'm a total prick, but at least I don't lie about it.
He must have been president in something as well, surely. Donald Sutherland, in all those years, he must have played president in something.
His son was in Designated Survivor.
TV shows.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Donald Sutherland played the president at some point.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. No, he doesn't know.
So that's a win for Martin Sheen then, surely, we can agree.
Win for Martin Sheen. Bill Pullman and Harrison Ford.
Just like they joined second with 3-3 each.
Bill Pullman got 4 votes overall. 3 votes overall, sorry. But like he didn't get number 1, whereas Stu's Harrison Ford and then my number 1 and my Harrison Ford number 2 brought him up a wee bit. So it is Bill Pullman and Harrison. I think Harrison Ford just edges it slightly. But that's
what was about Harrison Ford for you too.
Yeah,
what was about Harrison Ford for you in Air Force One? Then?
Just the get off my plane. Just man. I rented it on tape as a kid and just watching it, and it ticked all the boxes. It was cool to see, it's Indiana Jones, but he's playing something different. I didn't give a toss about Star Wars back then, so it was just Indiana Jones I knew him from. So it's so cool to see him not being indie for once.
He was effectively Indiana Jones for president, wasn't he?
I was aware of him. The first film I seen him in was The Age of Adaline. It was like Harrison. He's actually in a great show on Apple now.
Shrinking.
Yeah.
Shrinking, yeah.
I need to watch it. Yeah,
one of the guys from How I Met Your Mother. Good.
My favorite part of Air Force One, because I borrowed it from my mate whose dad recorded it on telly. Before when you used to when you still had things on VHS and you'd press record, but say you change the channel. If you change the channel, you could accidentally fuck your recording by putting something else on. Or my copy of Air Force One had this amazing moment, about halfway through, where anybody that remembers Old Sky. So you used to put your put your VHS in, you press record. What's that? No, they got 999. You're close though, man. You're close. Yeah. So you used to Old Sky, or was the first time to have that weird thing where you could flick through channels to see what was on while you were watching whatever you were watching. So and you remembered all the channels you wanted. So it's for me and Stu, it would be 301, 302, 303, and that because that was the movie channels. Then you watched 404 because that's what Raw was always on. It was Sky Sports, something. But yeah, generally my copy of Air Force One had this moment halfway through where you could always go through the motions with my mate's dad. Whereas he's just checking to see what's on all the adult channels. It's Busty Babes, all that sort of stuff. And then he has this weird moment where it just stops, and you can tell he's he just pressed back up when he realizes that he's still recording Air Force One. I loved it. This minute in the middle of the movie where it's just my mate's dad flicking through all the porn channels to see what was on.
For the 10-minute preview
Well, that would have been right. I saved it halfway through, so on the old movie channels, they would start movies on the hour, and then the movie would finish, and you get 15-20 minutes of adverts before the next whatever to take up to the next hour. So obviously, if Air Force One started at 9, and it's a halfway through the movie, you're getting to about 10 o'clock. The guy's going to be checking out to see what's what previews could he be checking out, and then he realizes, shit, I'm recording Air Force One, so I can't flick on the preview.
I got to check on the president. What's going on? It's like it just gets to an advert break and you just start channel hopping.
So good. Oh, so good.
But I mean,
Right, so
I do
does
have
anyone have-
like flashbacks to Air Force One, but also really makes me want to watch Executive Decision, where that is like one of those movies where they do the switch on you, because at first like this is a Steven Seagal movie. Steven Seagal's gonna like fucking sort these bad guys. Oh, they've killed them. They've flung them off the plane. And then there's like Kurt Russell comes in. Is like, as a kid, like, who the fuck's this guy? He's no Steven Seagal. He's not gonna do shit.
That's a great film, though. Yeah.
Kurt Russell, and I'd forgotten about him as well. I absolutely love Kurt Russell as well. Was he was the president though? Was he?
I don't think he was the president in that film, but I was just thinking about like just conflicts.
He was like an advisor or something. Yeah.
But
I get those two movies mixed up in my head because I think to use a ghost thing is like that. Does Steven Seagal not get sucked off?
Yes.
He's trying to go on the plane and the singing slightly breaks and he gets worked out.
I feel like the past 40 years of his career, he's been trying to get sucked off.
Yeah. That was just that great ongoing joke on ghosts. Somebody sucks.
Don't get sucked.
We're not using that phrase.
Right, so does anyone have any anyone have any other music pressing? I'm on my third beer, guys. I'm really sorry. Anyone got any other things you want to chat about? Any shit?
Don't think so. There's a couple of good shows starting this week, which you should look out for if you've not seen them. Reacher season 3 is coming very soon. The Night Agent season 2 is, I think, out now. So by the time we next speak, I'll finish Peaky Blinders and be on to one of them.
We got a new Star Wars show. We got a new Star Trek show starting soon. I think it's maybe tomorrow.
Tomorrow, it's a film.
Yeah, is it Section 31? Yeah. Yeah, I watched.
Live action movie.
Yeah, it's got Michelle Yeoh's.
Michelle Yeoh.
What, a movie or a TV show?
It's a TV movie.
I thought it was a TV show, but it's pretty. I'm more excited. It's a movie. Should be good. It's taking Star Trek into that weird. If I'm right in thinking it's taking Star Trek into that weird bit of history between the original series and the Next Generation, where we don't really know what kind of know what happened.
Does she play the character from Discovery?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's sort of the alternate universe Empress who came into this universe and started working with. Yeah.
She's Empress for sure.
It's just not another version of her from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It could be.
It's got 21% on tomatoes so far.
Ooh.
I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I'm excited.
Watch it, but yeah, that's okay.
And then also, if you're phoning about early next week, me and Stu are trying to work it out. Me and Stu are going to do a Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble for wrestling fans. It's the start of WrestleMania season next week.
Oh, when's that going to be?
The Royal Rumble is a week on Saturday, so we're hoping.
February 1st.
February 1st.
Live on Netflix.
Yeah, live on Netflix.
Yeah, Sam's still not going to be watching it, mate. Wrestling's for kids.
So,
fuck you.
Proclaimed that. What's it?
The Royal Rumble is like my second favourite day of the year for wrestling, so I'm buzzing for Royal Rumble.
I like sport, proper sport, you know.
Joe Hendry is the TNA World Champion.
Yes.
He sings songs and he's from Edinburgh.
I can't find the video anymore because I got my Facebook hacked last year. But my debut wrestling match, which was in the middle of a rumble for a minute and a half, basically is me rolling into the ring, punching Joe Hendry, current TNA World Champion. But at that point, he was wrestling me in a scout hall in Edinburgh, or Livingston, on the outskirts of Edinburgh. I'm in the middle of a rumble. Joe Hendry's in there. I punch Joe Hendry in the stomach too hard. He spins me round because even in fake fighting, you can like hit somebody too hard. Joe Hendry spins me around, decks me one, and you can actually see me wince like through my wrestling mask. You can see me go, oh, and then he whispers in my ear to calm down, and then threw me over the top rope. So my debut, and he's now the world champion and the third or fourth biggest wrestling company in the world. But yep, there is video footage of me getting decked by him 10 years ago in a scout
I
hall.
expect that to be the start of next week's episode.
I can find it. Yeah. So yeah, loads of exciting stuff to talk about next week. Wrestling, geeky stuff otherwise. So yeah, can everyone look after themselves, please? Tomorrow, don't go outside. If you don't
Look
have
after
to.
yourself and each other.
Yeah.
Jerry
Love you. Bye.
Seinfeld.
Hi guys, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.